Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage. I forgot to actually switch my camera to my outside camera. Good morning. Good morning. Happy 27th, 2 days after Christmas. Hope yours was lovely, that you had some good times with friends or family or whoever, or that you had a very peaceful day, whichever is most desired by you and appreciated. Ours was full and lovely and exhausting in so many ways. I think yesterday is probably the laziest day I've had in years. Um, about 2 o'clock, I said to my husband, I probably ought to change my clothes and get out of my pajamas. He said, why? And I said, good point. So I didn't. Uh, Changed my clothes into new pajamas when I went to bed, but it was needed. There was exhaustion at hand just from a few things, from real lack of sleep a couple days before Christmas, and it just built up. And it was lovely. My children are lovely. I am blessed. We most of the time like each other, and we had just a wonderful time with the grandkids, who are very good kids. They're respectful, and they just had a ball. So I wish for you the same, that you can cultivate that in your life in some way. But right now, this is all about forward movement, or the lack thereof. This reading, as we go into the beginning of the new year, we have a new moon on the 30th, and that's all about beginnings. And I didn't share my mug with you. This beautiful dolphin mug that I got at a thrift store because I liked it. It was comfortable, it was beautiful, it felt good, and I love dolphins. And I chose that. I told you I emptied my cupboard, so I have room for one or two more. So this can be a very difficult time, the after holiday letdowns for Jewish folks. Yesterday was the first day of Hanukkah. So their celebration, the celebration of lights, is just beginning. And so to all my friends who are Jewish, I wish you peace. I wish you ease. I wish you joy as you go through this celebration time in your faith. So we have a lot of cards that had messages this morning. So the circle is the first card that came from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, that beautiful, beautiful card. And it came up in reverse. And that tells us that you need to let go. There's something we need to let go of. And for many of us, it's an old way of thinking about ourselves. It's beliefs that do not support us. It can be relationships, it can be jobs, it can be whatever is holding us down, because the next card that came is the bog, being bogged down. The circle in reverse means you're holding on to something that no longer serves you. I'll light this a little bit. There we go. Maybe a little bit too much. It's all or nothing, apparently. Let me turn it. There we go, to a softer light. Um, you're clinging to something. It is time to let go of some things. And for most of us, it has to do with what we believe about ourselves, what we can or cannot do, what we are capable of, what we are not capable of. Whatever that looks like for you, you probably know. And this time of year is rife with disappointment, with, the darkness is longer right now. We're moving back into light, but right now we have very dark days, and for many of us that is a very physiological response. And to the darkness is downness, is depression, sad, seasonal affective disorder. And so use this time when things might be less than light and lovely and fun to examine, what do I want to let go of here? What am I believing about myself that isn't true? Because that's generally where the crux of all of this starts. The next card that came up was Holy Mountain. These beautiful cards. That has to do with bringing in, getting in touch with your spiritual self, allowing things to fall away that no longer serve you in that walk. This need we have to connect to our spiritual guides, God, Creator, Jesus, the universe, whatever, George, whatever you call them. It is time to really examine life from the spiritual perspective and start living life from that very powerful place of spirit. So this card, the Holy Mountain is about a pilgrimage. This is returning to you, to that holy place, that holiness that you are, the divine aspect. And, all of us is the divine aspect. We are spark of God here. Our DNA is that of God, the creator of the universe. We are the divine in the world. That does not always mean we act like the divine. We are also very human. So it's really important to get in touch with that divinity within you that you have access to. Your power team, like I say, open, willing, and ready, guide me all the time. Being willing to see the things that are going to help you understand and move forward. The next card is the Well-Mated, the voices of the other world. These are from the Rooted Woman Tarot, really pretty deck. The voices of the other world, again, the getting in contact with your spiritual aspect. This can be guidance from ancestors. The veil between life and death is much thinner than we realize. And at times during the year when the portals are strong, like 12/12, 11/11, 8/8, these times we have easier access to that other world, but we do always have the ability to communicate with them. Call on your ancestors. What is it in what you're dealing with right now that is ancestral? What part of this really doesn't even belong to you? It's stuff you came in with, and you can choose to get rid of it. You can work to get rid of it. Good morning, Julia. I was wondering if you were on today. This can be very much a time of inward drawing, which is good. It's not a bad thing to just draw in and not be outwardly communicative and all of that. This is a time when we need to really examine what it is we are choosing to move forward with. This next year portends to be very tumultuous in many ways, physiologically, with the world, the earth, the countries. The whole world is in upheaval. The people are now going, I don't think so. We're done with this way of doing things. It is time. They might not even term it as this, but it is time for the divine feminine to rise now. As I watch whatever I happen to watch on TV, it is always astounding to me how people, men particularly, but not just men, but think it is okay for them to touch another person without permission in any way, shape, or form, that they own anyone else and that they can enact their desires on that other person. It just baffles me that anyone thinks that that is appropriate. So it is time for the divine feminine to rise. We have a lot of toxic masculine. We have a lot of toxic feminine. We need the balance. So it needs to start within us. Get in contact with your higher power team to find the balance you need. Sovereignty, the power of the land. This was a very different meaning in this card than the sovereignty I am familiar with. This sovereignty has to do with being very much in balance and with Mother Nature, the earth. This is the Rooted Woman Tarot, so it's a very earthy card. Good morning, Diane. Thank you. I am going to come over and take my client out to lunch today, so it will be a nice day. I do need to get out of the house. And it's a rainy day, so I'm not likely to take Jack for a walk. But maybe when I get home, it will not be raining anymore. Sovereignty, the power of the land. You are the only one who can do your work. And it is vital that you do. But bringing again, the other aspect is you're the only one who can bring you into balance. Help is there. I posted earlier about WOWY, which is Women of Wisdom and Inspiration. It's a group that meets once a month where I live, in near where I live. Anyway, I had posted that it's on because it's on New Year's Day. What a great time to get together with other like-minded people that are focusing on their spiritual aspect, looking to grow that and allow themselves the peace that comes with being more involved spiritually than maybe we have in the past. And if you are someone that has, it is time to go deeper. What does that look like? I am open, willing, and ready. Guide me to what that looks like. And it's going to be different for each one of us. Things will come across your path. Maybe you need to spend more time in nature. Mother Nature, the land, as this card talks about, is very balancing. And we want to be in balance. And we are the only ones who can balance ourselves by saying yes to some things and no to some things. Beliefs that people have about you that they try to put on you. Somebody was telling me about this. Can't remember. I'll have to think about that. About who you are. You are the only one that gets to choose that. You can choose to believe what other people have put on you, but it is always your choice. And who you are is something down deep that connecting with your higher power is going to make. And this card, I'm holding this card, forgetting what it said as this comes out. This is the time to make the choice of who you are. Tell your story. Don't tell the story of what other people have told you or who they tell you you are. It's time to tell your story. It's time to stand in your power, in sovereignty, in balance with the things that you love percolating inside of you, the things that you have taken on that are not true or feel very uncomfortable within who you are. If they are uncomfortable inside you, then they are not inherently who you are. That means, some of the time that means looking at things we've done and going, I can't believe I did that. I am so ashamed. And that is a good thing, because if you weren't ashamed of these less than honorable, lovely, wonderful things you might have done, then they're never going to be let go. You're owning them as okay within you. And yet the things that you feel ashamed about are going to keep you out of balance until you accept that, yep, I did that. It was not my finest moment. I choose to grow from that. I choose to learn from that and then let it go. That is the power of you standing in your sovereignty. Then the moon came up in reverse. And this talks about, the moon has different cycles. And, we started out with stagnancy and holding on to old. And this is that too. This is not allowing yourself to go through the cycles of life that are there for you, that are presented for you, and allow them to move forward. When we're holding on old ways, we are not allowing flow. And flow is the easiest way to walk through life. I've mentioned I've been doing these mandalas, and was it Christmas? No, it was the day after. It was after everyone left, Christmas night, that I sat down with the book and I did this mandala. And I realized what it was. It was like I had to do this. I had this pull to go sit there, and it was discharging all the energy. It was lovely energy, but it was the energy of 8 other people in my home for 2 days and chaos, which was lovely chaos. But still, I needed to work it through. And that's what those mandalas are doing for me. My lovely friend Mayana told me at one point, you are grounding the energy. It was like grounding these energies in. It was like, okay. And I was discharging those energies and putting them on the page and it was so funny as I was writing, just kind of what I was doing, I could hardly do the fine line things because I was so full of energy. And then as I moved forward, it was like I had to do the fine line things. And then Yesterday, I did a couple of them in the morning, much easier to do. And like I said, I just stayed in my pajamas today, watched television, napped, watched lovely shows on television, just some Christmas stuff, whatever, And again, you want to watch the things you're taking in. I love good mysteries, but man, there are some out there that are way too dark. And I can feel those immediately. It's like, oh no, no, this isn't something I'm going to watch because it pulls me into a darker place. I do not need any of that in my life at this point. I could be a sad person this time of year with the light as it is. I have been in the past. And so I pay attention to what I feed myself during these times. Divine madness. This is you focusing more on the divine than you have been, on your divinity, on your self being that divine being that you are. That isn't better than anybody else. It is the inherent the inherent you, who you are. You are a divine being having a human experience. We do want to focus on that because that's where our power lies. That's where our information can come in with greater ease as to what our path is here. So it's a huge, very much a letting go and focusing on your spiritual self now. That is where the payoff is. And we really want to do this because that also brings us into that higher vibration that I speak so much about. And this higher vibration is what we are then sharing with everyone else. And the next card is Imram. Literally in Irish, that means row the boat. This means, one of the things I say is, I've been prompted many times throughout this journey to give up control. And every time it's like, my gosh, how much more can I give up? But the visual is, I'm in this boat. I want my creator, God, the universe, the higher power to steer, but I'm willing to row it, which means I need to do my work. That means I need to work on that spiritual aspect, getting quiet, looking at spiritual things as in books, as in on the internet, getting the guidance, getting out with groups like WOWY that is meeting on New Year's Day, Women of Wisdom and Inspiration. There are other ways, other groups that I can connect to. In fact, there's a drumming circle right after that I am likely to go to because I will be what we call here over the hill already. And I love the drumming circles. That is another possibility, very much the tribal aspect. We do want to find our tribe that is that divine tribe, that group that is like-minded to grow with, to help grow, to journey with, to support. This is huge because it really increases our understanding of our divinity. So you row the boat, let spirit lead you, open, willing, ready, guide me. That's what rowing the boat is about. You show the way, I'll take the steps here that I need to take. And then the last card is gather your loyalties. And that I just actually talked about. The tribe, the people of like-minded. One of my friends on Facebook said, wow, I wish I had a group like that. Maybe it's time to create the group where you live. Reach out to these possibilities. Go to the woo-woo store, the witches store where you live. That's going to be where these, now there may be just totally witch stores, and Wicca is fine. We know that in all religious or belief systems, there are dark ones and there are light ones. We now just have one of those stores in Boise. We did have one called Eyes of the World, but they just closed their doors after many years. And so now we have just Crohn's Cupboard, sort of. There are some other stores, some smaller ones. Oh, Blue Lotus too. Blue Lotus, that's a little bit different bent. I don't go in there a lot only because it doesn't really resonate with me. But find your tribe, find what does resonate. Go to a store like that has the oracle cards. If you're watching something like this, you're of that bent, and you will find people of like mind. They may have groups that are meeting. They may have classes. Take a class. That's one way to find those in your area that resonate with you. It is time that we build our tribes, especially as the rooted women. We are going to be the ones that share that energy, that show the world how they can walk in this world as well. So, a very directed, beautiful reading for this rainy day here in December, right after Christmas. Can be very much a time of letdown. So, work your energy, bring yourself up. Watch high vibe shows, particularly, particularly if you had old Christmas shows as a child that you liked. Watch them again. We generally have that capability these days. If not, YouTube probably has some. Watch the comedian Nate Bargatze. That man is funny and he's clean and he's lovely. And there's another one, Leanne, and I can't think of her last name. Southern gal, also quite funny and has a great comedy sketch that can resonate easily. So I think we are complete for today. Good morning, Jean. Yes. And Jean, remember on the 1st, if you're not busy, WOWY is happening. So maybe choose to be there. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. And we just had coffee. Until we meet again.